everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Hi, Sandy Wandy. Hi, my other's keeper. Starting a little roll call here. I keep forgetting that I've got my phone on and it goes off. I have it so I make sure that I can be heard. So I thought this topic was worth a little bit of a discussion today because I really believe that sometimes we don't always think of it that way. And my perspective has certainly changed since December. And I'm starting to say, okay, Mary, in order to be loved, you have to first love yourself. And if you're going to beat yourself up for who you are, then nobody else can get in there. And so that is one reason why I thought this topic is really good. And if you notice with the thumbnail, you'll notice that it has somebody, the thumbnail has somebody standing alone. Well, we're not alone. We are certainly far from it. We are together, and if we come in support, then I think it's a good topic too. I think then that we can, learn to really care, really, love ourselves, and then we can turn around and love other people. Hi, Yarnworks. So I was looking around for thumbnails, and I thought, perfect topic or perfect thumbnail, because they are standing by themselves, but none of us here on this channel are by ourselves, and we can all, I'm just sharing this out so people know I'm live, so just give me a minute. I'm getting there. None of us are standing by ourselves, but in order to get somebody else there, you got to learn to love yourself first. And it's slowly been happening. And I'm like, you know what? I've noticed a difference in myself when I have allowed, and that is the really important thing, I have allowed myself to be able to be loved and have people give me compliments. And say, okay, I need to really look at this, and really be able to look at it and be able to. Yes, Lydia, I will call you. I will call you Lydia. I will do my best. So I will call you Lydia. My other's keeper said, and I did put her link on the very top, if you have a tough time loving yourself, find a photo of yourself as a child and love that person. I love that person that needs love, and tell that person how special and perfect they are. Amen. Don't we do it with our own kids? I mean, to my daughter, man, she's beautiful, and I love you, and I love you just the way you are, and I don't need to have anybody tell me anything else. And she's the most beautiful child I've ever seen in the world, and I'm sure everybody feels that way about their children. But we need to, first of all, love ourselves so that we can grow friendships, connection, and support. And if we have those three things, now for me, God is also a part of that, but not everybody believes in that, and we need to respect that. But that's in that equation for me. It may not be in that equation for you, and that's fine. But those three things I think are so key in having us realize, wait a minute, if we're going to love ourselves first, then we can grow friendships. And the way you do that is through connection. And what does connection do? It gives you support. It's a full circle if we really think about it. And I'm just so grateful to all of you that have stepped in and said, you know what, Mary, you really have a tremendous heart. And that is one of the first things that I can honestly say. I've said, you know what, Mary, you have a really big heart. And I've had people say to me, oh, you're just too sensitive and you're just talk too much. Well, look at me. I'm sitting on YouTube and going, okay, well, I got something to talk about. Let's just talk. You see the name crochet? I'm not sitting here teaching you how to crochet. I'm sitting here talking about stuff that's important to me, and people are bringing up in the chat and saying, okay. And I'm like, well, that's a good topic. And I thought about it today. And I said it the other day too. I said, for the first time in my life, I am learning to love who I am. Hi, Paula. I'm learning to love who I am. I'm not worried what anybody else thinks. There's going to be people that don't like me, and that's okay. And for somebody that's a people person that wants everybody to love them and be friends, probably because I didn't have that many while I was, especially in middle school, it's really, really important to me. But not everybody is going to like me, and not everybody's going to be my friend. But the friends that are sticking by me now, they're amazing. And it doesn't, I was talking to my husband the other day, and I said, you are my best friend. There is nobody else in this world that I'm going to confide all the stuff that I have, and vice versa. And he's my best friend, and so is my mom, and so is my daughter. They all are tremendous supports for me, and my husband's family, and my mother-in-law. But there's something very different about having friends, in the sense that they are not obligated to have a relationship with you and take the time to get to know you, other than they think you're a really cool person with a big heart. They want to do that. They want to take the time to say, you know what? I want to get to know you. And I walked in today. We went to, and I talked about it when I was doing that little live today. Sorry, itchy nose for a minute. And we walked in, we went to like a seniors luncheon, and I went with my mom just to support her, and I thought, it's connection. I walked in, and this lady that I never met before, sweetheart of a lady, and she said that to me. She goes, welcome. And I said, I know I'm not a senior, even though I probably have the gray hairs because of my daughter. But I said, I'm not a senior. She said, I don't care. Come on in and sit down. And they had like a little lunch thing at the Y. Come in, and they do it every Thursday on the first Thursday of the month. Come in, enjoy it. And we sat and talked to people. And she just she gave me a side hug, and she was like, welcome, hun. And I was just like, this is my kind of girl. I'm like, okay, then I'm not the only one that is this chatty and kind of, she was definitely a people person. Definitely the person that has never met a stranger, just like my dad. He never met a stranger. And it was really nice to say, I'm not the only one out there in this world that just never met a stranger. And I was on our live. I went on this afternoon before I lay down for a little rest. And there were people just thanking me for just coming on and staying connected. And there were several people that have started channels, and they're kind of nervous about doing this whole live thing. And I started that way. I thought, well, you know what? What's the worst thing that can happen? And I said to a couple of them, I said, if you're nervous about going live and you need somebody by your side, I'll be glad to come on and be there so that you don't feel like you're by yourself. And they go, oh, that would be awesome. I'd appreciate that so much. I wouldn't feel like I was by myself doing this thing. What are we doing? I've made a friend with them. We're connecting. And now I'm saying, okay, if you need me to support you, I will. What an awesome thing. But if I'm going to continue to beat myself down because of things that have been said to me in middle school in my past, then you know what? I can't see me for who God has intended for me to be. I do have a big heart. Do I have things that I need to work on? Absolutely. Am I perfect? Not by any stretch of the means, y'all. I got a lot of work to do. I have a lot. But you know what? I'm coming into my own. I'm saying, this is who God made me to be. Am I going to say things at times that are not correct? Am I going to say things that come off the wrong way? Yeah, I do have a learning disability. It's part of who I am. Do I struggle to sit down and read a book? Yes, I do, because it's a challenge for me. I don't necessarily enjoy it. So instead of reading a book, because that's not something that I will do, I need to find the book audio and listen to it audio, because I can listen to it audio tremendously. Fibromyalgia changed me. It did change me because I deal with chronic pain on a daily basis. And there's some days where I'm like, you know what? My body is not doing what I want it to do. It's not working correctly today. Migraine comes out of nowhere, and guess what? I have to change my plans, sometimes very quickly. But, if we can start a list of things that say, you know what, this is what I love about myself. And I'm sure that you may only start with maybe one. And I think for me right now, I have a big heart. And probably if you give Mary something, if something's got to get done, go give it to Mary, because she can get it done. We delivered food yesterday to a person in our church that had knee surgery. And, we delivered her dinner. And then I went to another friend of mine's house on the way home who is moving, and brought them some Gatorade and water for their moving crew that's coming in this weekend. And I told her, I said, I delivered food to the lady in our church that had knee surgery. She said, oh, great. She said, I'm so glad somebody did. And she said, just leave it to Mary. She's going to get it done. And I'm like, yep, that's me. I'm going to get it done. It's not that I'm not taking no for an answer, but if somebody needs help, and if making and bringing them a Sam's Club chicken with some sides that I don't have to fix, it makes their night a lot easier, I'm all for it. We'll get it done. We'll figure out a way. There has to be a way to get it done. I may not be able to do any lifting boxes and all that kind of stuff. I can't do any of that. But we could bring water and Gatorade for the people that are going to be helping them move. I mean, that's a part of me that I really, really like. I love that about me, that when somebody needs my help, a friend or a family member, I'm there. I'm your go-to girl. And I'm like, I love that about me. So start writing a page that says, this is what I love about me. And there may be only one thing that you love, but you just make yourself say, you know what, God, you got to show me all the things that you created me to be, that maybe it's not that you love that about yourself, but maybe God does, or other people do. I'm starting to write down things that other people are saying about me in my I love list. This is what I love. This is what other people are saying they love about me. And maybe there's a like list. This is stuff I like. And then eventually maybe it'll get over to that pile. And then how about things I need to work on? We all need to work on stuff. Every solitary one of us need to work on. There's stuff I need to work on. And we all need to work on it. I have to be careful I don't over talk. Right here, it's a great setup. I have to be careful if I'm in a situation, because the Greek will come out on me. Greek will come out of me. And in the Greek culture, you literally can sit with women around the table, and they'll all be talking to each other at once. They'll be over talking on each other, and it doesn't matter, because everybody knows what each other's talking about. Well, it doesn't always work in certain settings unless you totally understand that culture. So I have to be really careful, depending on the circumstance and situation, that I don't interrupt somebody. Or what happens with myself is I'll have something in my head, and I'll want to come out with it, and I have to wait a minute, Mary, stop, and let the other person finish. Hi, Miss Dragon. So I have to be careful about not overstepping that. And that's something that I have to be conscious of, and I have to work on. It's not a terrible thing, but it's something that I need to work on so that I don't overstep somebody or don't feel like somebody isn't heard. Sometimes I tend to overplan. I know that sounds, especially when things are going, I want everything organized and I want to know what's happening, and I can't always know what's happening. So I sometimes overplan, or everything has to be organized, or I overly talk about things. And my mom will like, Mary, we've talked this out. I love you. If you need to talk it out for the next 20 minutes, we'll talk it out. And I'll keep talking about it because that's how I work through things. And I can do that with my family. I could do that with you all to some degree, but I can't do that with everybody because everybody's going, we've talked about this. She's repeated herself 10,000 times. I'm not trying to repeat myself. Sometimes I do repeat myself. So have 3 sections and put it on your mirror, put it on a wall, and start adding. Love it. I don't know if you've ever been to, what is that place? Oh my goodness. Yes, smash that like button, everyone, please. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure you're subscribed, not only to my channel, but everybody else's. Miss Dragon, please drop your link. I can't think of that place now. There's a place and I can't think of it. Oh goodness, it's the ice cream shop and I can't think of what it is. But they have an ice cream. It's called Like It, Love It. It's something else. And it just changes on the size of the ice cream that you get. I can't remember what it's called, but and they mix it in front of you. But anyway, they have a Like It, I Love It, and something else, and there's something I think before that. But it just changes on the size of the ice cream. So get a list. I love it, I like it, and I need to work on it. And then start asking people that you trust to say, what do you love about me? What do you like about me? What are some things that you think I can work on? If they're going to tell you what they think that you could improve yourself on, they're going to do it in a loving way. If they come after you in a critical manner or a way that's going to hurt you, cold stones, thank you. You need to not ask them. I'm talking about friends that you can go to, that you can trust, to say, can you tell me what you love about me? Can you tell me what you like about me? What are some things you think I need to work on? And if they're going to do it the right way, they're going to come at you in a loving manner to say, you know what? I think you're doing a great job, but I think this is something maybe you need to work on. This is something that you need to do. And if they're doing it the right way, when they have something that you feel, hi Mona. Oh, I'm so excited. Hi Mona. And if they are doing it right, they'll also take it when you do it lovingly back to them. But let's not drag everybody down. The purpose of coming to somebody and say, hey, you know what, this is something that I feel you need to work on a little bit. I see this maybe as something that's hindering you from doing something amazing. Let's do it in a way that's not going to drag them down. Let's do everything to lift them up. I would not be in front of this camera right now if it weren't for certain people, and they know exactly who they are. I would not be here. And there were times where I was like, I felt so low, and they were there. They know exactly who they are. And if I needed them tomorrow, I could get on the phone and go, I need you. Can you just lift me up? And they know if they need me, all they have to do is ring that phone. I don't care. I was in pain recently, and somebody messaged me, and they were talking to me, and they said, I know you're hurting, and I know it's late. And I said, I don't care. You need to be lifted up right now. You need to have somebody speak, just be there to listen. I will be here for as long as you need, my friend. If you need me to get on the phone, we'll get on the phone. That's it. Because people have done it for me. People have blessed me more than they will ever know to change those tapes in my head. To say, you're worthy to be known. You're worthy, Mary, to be a friend to. And we love you. And people that I have never met in person. I was talking about it this afternoon, and I said, I really hope that I get the opportunity of meeting some of these people that I have had become friends with. And I hope I want to be the same person that they see on the other side of this camera as I am when I'm met. I don't want to change. I have no desire to. It's not who I am. I'm going to be the same person. If people come on my channel, there's just a few rules. Be respectful, be nice, and please don't use cuss words. It just is not something I want to do on this channel. But if I go onto their channel, I'm now going into their home. So if that's something they do, you do you, boo. No problem. I'm going to be fine. It's not my place to criticize. It's like, I hope to be a yaya, which is grandmother in Greek, one day. And if my grandkids come here, I know, my daughter and so forth would not allow them to use those words. But if they use the words in their home, go right ahead. But you're coming into Yaya's home, we're not using them. That's not something Yaya wants to hear. But I think, that we can do it in a way that's, I think we've lost the art of being able to have a discussion and be going, okay, this is my point of view. This is my point of view. We differ, but we can still be friends. I don't have to agree with everything everybody does, and you don't have to agree with everything I do. But we can still wind up being friends, because then we've lost a friendship with a beautiful person. Let's give people second chances. There are certain things that don't deserve second chances, but you know what? If somebody's hurt you, and it's feasible to work it out. Let's work it out. Talk about it. Get through it. I'm going to do a show on forgiveness, because I've had a lot of examples in my life about. Oh, thank you, Mona. Don't make me cry, girl. I'm going to read this. You're really amazing, Mary. You have a beautiful heart and soul, and your growth is amazing. I'm shouting this to the whole world. Oh my goodness. I love you. I'm going to do a show because I've had times in my life where I've had to put forgiveness when it has been very difficult to do it. My grandmother on my dad's side, I have a story that is a perfect example of that. And you know what? I forgave when it was really hard to forgive. And then God turned around and blessed me for 2 years. And I probably want to do it maybe with my Other's Keeper on, because I really want to have the conversation about bipolar. It is, and trying to understand it. I think it would be a really good one. I want to have her on my channel. We've been on her channel several times and enjoyed it. And tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, we're going to do trivia on my Other's Keeper, and I'm going to be answering or asking the questions. So you can come join, and she has people hopping on and so forth. So if you want to come on, that'll be a really fun time tomorrow. But I think that would be a great thing to have, is to have her on my channel, coming from the perspective of trying to untangle that whole thing with a grandmother that had that, and at a time when that mental part was not necessarily easily diagnosed. I just couldn't imagine what her life would have been if she was properly medicated. So I think that may be a great topic to have with her. But, forgiveness gives the power back to the person, not the person you're forgiving. And sometimes you need to forgive and say, I have forgiven you, but I need to remove myself from your life. And that's fine too. I just think at all costs, relationships are so important. And I guess to me, And I kind of thought about it today, I guess, to me, because all of these things in the past, since December, all these things that have opened up for me. You'll keep your eye out. It's shopping day tomorrow for you, Miss Dragon. All these friendships that have opened up to me, it's like I've been so long without them. I don't want to think of not having them. So, depending on the situation, I want to make sure that I can keep relationships intact for as well as I can. And there's sometimes that's totally impossible. And when you can heal it and when you can fix it, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. When it's toxic to you and you're just saying, I can't have this person in my life, then you need to do what's best for your mental well-being. But I think that when we can have friends that we could go to that you can trust and say, I need you to start pointing these things out to me. Can you point out them? Because I think in order to love yourself, when you're going through the process of going, okay, I need to do this, I need to love myself so I can love other people correctly. And I don't know if there's a correct way to love people, but I mean, just being able to turn around and see you the way other people see you, and then you can turn around and do the same thing for the other person. I really believe that if you can have somebody, a couple of friends that you really, really, that you really, really can trust to say, okay, I'm going to start this journey. I'm going to find out. Hi, Loves. That you can, you can start this journey and say, okay, let's do this. And you can trust. And you know what? But just please make sure if you have things about somebody, no matter whether you're kind of helping them work through this or not, that if there's something that you see that they need to work on, that you see that if they did, they would only be a better of themselves, then please do it with a kind and loving heart. They're going to listen. If you come at a defense and go, well, you need to do this, do that, they're going to just shut down and say, I don't want to hear it. So the best way to do it is doing it with a loving heart. And you have to establish a relationship with somebody. You can't know somebody for 10 minutes and say, okay, let's go through things, all these things. You have to have a relationship. There's people in the chat that if they came to me and said, you know what, I think this would be better, I'm going to really listen to them because they put the time in. There's a book called Finding Your People. It's a great devotional book. Do you realize it takes 200 hours to build a relationship with people? 200 hours. That's a lot of hours. I've spent 200 hours on a lot more sillier things than trying to build relationships. A lot more sillier things. It takes 200 hours to build a relationship with people so that you can get to know them and they can get to know you. And that's a lot. When you really think about it, how many hours that takes. And there's some people that, man, the minute you meet them, you feel like you have known them your entire life. And you just click really, really well. It puts a lot in perspective. We as crocheters know how long a blanket takes to do. We know if we're going to do a blanket, man, it could take 60, 70, 80 hours to put that thing together, depending on the intricacy of it. It could take 3 or 4 weeks. You mentioned earlier that you did it like a full-time job, that 5 weeks. Yes. I mean, I just got done working on a project. It's taken me probably about 3 weeks to do it. Oh, excuse me. It's taken 3 weeks for me to do it. So it's an ongoing thing. If you're going to do it, then, you just need to do it. I put a cough drop on in y'all. You had me at bipolar. I recently doxxed by a YouTuber who since I've had bipolar. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Takes you a long time to do a blanket? You know what? It's okay. If it keeps you out of pain, then that's fine. If it keeps your mind on something else and focused on something else beside I'm hurting, do it. Doesn't matter how long it takes. My point of it is, I just happen to be a fast crocheter most of the time. But the blanket I got done working on, I did it for somebody. It wasn't my colors to do. It was 49er colors. Sorry, I'm not a yellow girl at all. But it needed to get done. And I had to do it. And I just had to keep going back and getting it done. But it took me about... The gentleman messaged me in February. So it's taken a month and I've gotten 2 blankets done. But it's been a pretty easy C to C. You're working on your first blanket. Awesome. Take your time. You sew blankets, typically 9 long. But I just want people to imagine 200 hours to build a relationship with people. MM loves crochet. I also would check on my other's keeper. She does talk about mental illness, and that is a great channel to be on and learn. She struggles with that too as well. You learned at the age of 12 and sports and boys to interfere, so I picked it back up 6 years ago. Awesome. I mean, there's not a day that I have to take breaks because sometimes if I don't, then I'm affected. Sometimes it's like it's not a day, but most times I'm crocheting, and I have to be careful that I don't. Sandy Wendy says, I still have the blanket from made when I was 18. I want to get the chat in here. Eventually, I'm going to StreamYard, but that's in a little bit. We'll get there. But, I don't even know where I was going. I'll pick it up in a minute. I have to be careful that I don't get so lost in crochet that I forget that there's a world of friendships out there, and there's people, and there's a life, and I have things to do, and laundry to do, and I don't get so involved with the crochet that I forget, wait a minute, I gotta focus on something else. I can't just solely focus on that, because that's what I'll end up doing. Oh, you're not. Okay. Well, you know what? That I misunderstood. And sometimes when I read comments, y'all, it takes a few minutes to go through my brain. I think I was undiagnosed dyslexic. And so sometimes when I read comments, they get scattered in my head. Well, here's the thing. You can choose to be kind to somebody, even if they've done something wrong. That's fine. I'm not looking for spelling. I'm not looking for spelling. If I'm supposed to sit here going, if I'm trying to read and it just kind of gets mixed up in this brain of mine and I misunderstand it, I'm going to forgive you for your spelling. Don't worry about it. There's no grammar here. Math does not happen here, and neither does grammar. Nobody's coming for that. But I think, too, when somebody's done something wrong, if we're not there going, let's see if we can come beside and forgive, and let's see if we can be nice. Sometimes, and I've had it happen, sometimes the better thing is to come beside somebody and be real, not like, sort of be sweet, but just come beside them. You do not know what they're going through. I was at home. My daughter was a special needs child. My dad in 2013 got dementia. So if I was, a little bit harsh to somebody in a day, I was because I was a tired person, not because of anything else. We don't know what they're going through. Not that it's right to be doxxed by anybody. It's not. But the best thing you can do is be kind back when it's deserved to be. Because being mean back is not going to do anything. I mean, if people, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. It's okay. But if people are saying things about me, go ahead and say it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know it. Don't send me emails about it. If the person has a problem with it, my email's in the description. Come and email me. We'll talk about it. Go ahead, have all you want. There's going to be people down the road. Haven't had any yet. There's going to be people that don't like me. There's going to be people that say stuff in the comments. Go right ahead. You're not walking in my shoes. You're not having to walk in my pain level every day. There's one person in this chat, amongst others, that know exactly what pain level I go through every day. They know it. They've messaged me and said, how are you doing? Respect is earned and not given. Absolutely. Absolutely. When somebody has done something wrong, you are allowed to put boundaries up. The situation that's going on in my family right now, if that person came back, there would be boundaries. Oh, absolutely. I love myself enough to put boundaries up because we're not going through this again. I'm done. I'm doing pretty good. I had a nap. I've been struggling with insomnia. I do not know why. I've had about enough of it. I've had about enough. I've been catching another YouTuber, Chow Yun Smut. And she sometimes will actually lull me to sleep. But I've been catching her lives at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just don't know why. It's part of fibromyalgia. But I've about done with the insomnia. Which then if I don't get sleep enough, then it gives me the headaches. And it's been like a back and forth battle. So I had to come home and take a nap today. It is what it is. I'm sure it took you by surprise and it deeply hurt you. I'm sure it did. Like I said, the situation, and I don't know how I can ever word it to be able to do in a way. My goal would never be to hurt the person. And I don't know how to do it in a way that I could. I have to really think about it, so that I can do it in a way that is not hurtful. Just because you hurt me does not mean I can hurt you. I grew up in a home. I had a wonderful mom and I had a wonderful dad, but my dad got angry a lot because he was dealing with anxiety, and I will go into his story. His story is worthy to be told. But he and both my grandmother would say hurtful things, and it was kind of like they said hurtful things, they got a release off of it, and then they come back and be really nice. And it was really, really hard. You were diagnosed with fibromyalgia, loves crochet, with fibromyalgia, and then 99 MS. I'm in the late stages COPD, but I love many and truly have a blessed life. Prayers for you. Can we put some ones? Those that do not know, Miss Dragon, if you're still here, if you can put the lifeboat in channel. Those that do not know, I dedicate this channel 100% to the lifeboat and the people on it, and Tommy for getting me here. I wouldn't have done this without it. But when we put ones in the chat, we're just saying we're praying for you. We're thinking about you. We're sending positive vibes, whatever we want to do. For me, it will be prayer. So if we can put some ones in the chat, That just means that we will certainly be praying for you. Um, I know for myself, I know my grandfather had multiple sclerosis. Um, I know it. I know it. And he had the kind of same philosophy to some degree that you just put up. He was going to get out of that bed, even if it was by lift, even if he couldn't do it himself, put a smile on his face, and make you smile somewhere through the day. He was just the most amazing man I could just ever come across in my life. I don't ask anything but ask her to apologize. It was so hurtful. MM loves crochet. So I blocked her because she is going into many of the channels I went in. I pray for her daily. That's all you can do. That is all you can do. The situation that is going on in my family right now with one person, I cannot do anything. It was done hurtfully. It was done, I think, done in haste. And I cannot do anything. The only thing I can do is write the person a letter and do what I need to do to heal me. And if that person comes back, then hopefully we can work it out. But there will be boundaries. There is nothing that I can do to make that person pick up the phone or let me contact them other than by mail. And if they don't read it, and they throw it in the trash, there's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing. It was in a time in our family where my aunt is dealing with stage 4 lung and liver cancer. It was wrong on every level. Sorry. And I just, all I can do is pray and be here and with a kind and loving heart when that person chooses to come back, if they ever do, and leave the rest up to God and say, and literally say, Lord, if they call, you've got to give me the strength to show your light through. Loves Crochet. I'd click on that lifeboat and just have the support. They're an amazing community. There are a lot of people in this chat right now that are part of the lifeboat. And I can tell you it is life-changing. It's okay, Christine. You stopped on in. You've got a kiddo. I totally understand it, girl. You I know you got me covered. I know there's a lot of people in this chat that got my back. And it feels so good. It feels so good. So let's really work on this love yourself thing. You can go to the Facebook group, Lighthouse Beacons. We're all here to be beacons for each other. Every solitary one of us. There's not one of us that shouldn't be a beacon for each other and beacon for the rest of the world. We're here to do positivity. We're here to connect. We're here to have peer support. You can't do this by yourself. We are not counselors by any stretch of the means. I don't plan. I go to therapy every week. I wish I had done it sooner. I have been carrying these bricks on top of my shoulders for years. And I'm ready to say, I don't need to carry them anymore. I don't need to carry them. And I talked to my therapist about it last week. I said, I'm a people person. She says, that's fine. But you cannot, if somebody chooses not to be your friend or somebody chooses not to like you, that's not your problem. You're a pretty amazing girl. Let's look at the facts. Not what you have the tape spinning in your head. Let's look at the facts. Let's look at the facts right in front of us. Let's do what is called a thought record. Let's do it. Let's look at the facts right in front of us. So we have to do it. We have to help each other. There's no other way to do this whole thing called life without helping each other. Sorry. Doing it by yourself really sucks. Sorry, it does. There's no other way to put it. Are we going to have fun here? Yes, we are. We're going to talk about stuff that's not pleasant? Absolutely. But I'm not a counselor, but I strongly suggest if you got some bricks on your shoulders that you're done carrying, you go find a counselor to talk to. There's no shame in saying, help me unpack this. Think about it. If you had a house and you're one person, okay? One person. Maybe, unless you're in your 20s, but if you're in your 60s, are you going to try to unload the whole U-Haul by yourself? No. You're going to hire a moving company. You're going to ask for friends. You're going to ask for some support, and you're going to unload the thing. If you're trying to unpack a U-Haul, you're not going to load it to start with. So some of these things that we've loaded on, and these bricks and everything on them, that's okay, Mona. Love you. These bricks on our shoulders, some of them have been loaded by other people. And it is not a good idea for us to try to unpack them without professional help. There are some things that are just, we need a therapist to walk us through, especially if you're going through trauma therapy. You don't need to be doing it with your best friend. You need to be doing it with a professional therapist. Where we need to step in with friendship, connections, and support is coming in and saying, okay, let's surround you. Let's encourage you. Let's lift you up. Let's have some place where you feel that you could talk to somebody if you're in a spiraling mess. And I can help walk you through it, and I can help just listen. And sometimes that's all it takes. I had a recent time where I had a moment and I talked to somebody, a friend of mine. I felt better after the hour was over with. She didn't allow me to go way down. She stopped me before I got way down. And then my counselor came in and we talked the whole situation through. We're all here to help each other. We have to be. We're going through struggles. We're going through difficulties. We can do it so much better with peer support. We can do it so much better with connections. But if you got bricks on your shoulder that you've been carrying and they're dragging you down, go if you can. And if there's places that will do sliding scales, there's places that will, do free counseling. Go find some counseling. Find the right therapist. If you go to somebody and you're not a match, go find somebody else. And say, I am worthy enough to go sit in a counselor's office and a therapist and talk this through. Whatever it may be. And it may be multiple things. My husband's going through that, and we're in counseling together. Not that we're in marriage counseling, but we're there to, I'm supporting him during his session. He's supporting me during my session. And he has a lot to unpack. And you know what he said to me? I am tired of carrying it around. And it's from when he was growing up. He said, I don't want to carry this anymore. I want to get rid of it. I don't want to give it headspace anymore. And I don't want to give stuff in my life headspace anymore either. I'm not giving it. It's time for it to go bye-bye. And I think I'm a much healthier person since I've been going to therapy. I'm a much healthier person since I have gone through gotten peer support and friends. I have my best friend. I have my mom. I have my daughter. I'm talking about friends. I've told the story, and I'll probably always tell it. I was probably about in my 30s. And I had a dear friend. Her name is Cindy. And I went over to her house and sat on the couch and laughed about a selfie stick that she was trying to put together and trying to figure out. And we laughed our head off. And I got in the car and cried. Because it was the first time in I don't know how long I had sat on a couch and laughed with a girlfriend. My phone now is it's usually, it's not binging like crazy, and I don't need it to. Maybe one day, but it's binging with the people that mean a lot to me and that have been there, and I'm there for them. If you have a friend that is coming into your life and saying, "Hi, how are you?" and they're only there when they want something, then they drift away for 3 months and they don't contact you. And when you contact them, they go, "Oh, I'm really busy. Sorry, I don't have time." Da 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 da. Then at 3 months or 6 months mark, they call you. "Oh, hi, how you doing?" Lifelong friends are the best. Then guess what? When they call you to do that something that they're calling 4 months later, and they weren't there during the struggles and the hard times, and they want you to do something, you say, "I'm really sorry, I'm busy." You're valuable enough to say that. Just because they decided to call you after 3 months and they haven't been there when you needed them at 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning because you're going through a rough patch, guess what? They don't have to own headspace. You can still have them as a friend, but maybe you choose to not say, "I'm sorry, I'm busy, I can't do that right now." Until they're going to sit there and say, "Wait a minute, this can't be one-sided." How exhausting and draining when you have a newborn baby. They're wonderful, but it's very one-sided. Everything has to be done for them. It is the most wonderful, magical, and exhausting time in a mother's life. They are exerting everything over to this little baby. Everything. Well, when you do that in a friendship, and you're the only one giving and the other person is taking, it's exhausting. And so you have to weed those friends out and say, which ones are my friends that will be there when I need them, no matter day or night. They're going to be there even if it's just to talk. And I'm not somebody that likes to be woken up when I'm asleep. There's a few people, and they know who they are, that can call me day or night, and I will pick up that phone. I will pick it up, and I'll stay on the phone for as long as you need. That's one part of me, my heart. I love that part of me. And I'm making myself say, I love that about me. If anybody wants to put in the comments what they love about themselves, go ahead and put it. Because I'd love to hear what you love about yourself. I know it's my heart. I have a big heart, and I just want to be there for people. I'm a people person, and I love that about myself. If there's something you love about yourself, put it in the comments. Tell the world, this is what I love about me. Love yourself. God does. God made you who you were supposed to be. He had a plan and a purpose for you. We weren't born. I wasn't born 100 years ago. I was born now for a plan and a purpose he had. You were born for a plan and a purpose God has for you. You are born because, and this was said to my husband, you know what? God don't make junk, and he doesn't. He doesn't know how to do it. Go look at some of the beauty out there. Look at the beautiful flowers and everything. He didn't know how to make junk. Kristen says, oh wow, this is a challenge. I am struggling to become a fan of me. Well, I'm a fan of you, Kristen. MM Loves Crochet says, yes, Kristen. I know. I'm going to challenge. I'm going to challenge you. You know that. I'm going to challenge you. MM Loves Crochet says, my heart. I love that. I think we need more people with big hearts. I think it could be life-changing for a lot of people if people would just open their hearts and say, listen, you're worthy to be known, you're worthy to be loved, you're worthy to be seen, and I want to take the time to know you. Are we going to agree with everything everybody does? No. Are we going to like everything about, the person? No. I love my husband forever and ever, for as long as God gives me the time on earth with him. He's my best friend. Do I love everything about him? No. And I'm sure he doesn't love everything about me. I guarantee it. But I'm going to lift that man up. Okay. I love my ability to hold my space for people when they are hurting. Ability to hold the the heart wants to stay right in the position where it wants to cover up some of the words. I need to move that heart to some place that doesn't do that. So, I love my ability to hold the space for people when they are hurting. I love that. And you do. You do. You do an amazing job of that. That is wonderful. Start putting it on a piece of paper. That needs to be your first one. That needs to be your first one. You know what I love about my daughter? I love that my daughter always has had the ability, she listens, to just share. From day one, she's just like, she wants to share. If you have something, she wants to make sure you have it. She has a heart. She got that from Mama. She has a heart for people. And she wants to share. And I love her heart for dogs. Oh my goodness. I love her heart for dogs. Like to give people the space to feel what they are feeling and not be judged by it. Kristen, I love that. How often do we sit here going, okay, I'm afraid to tell somebody this because I'm going to be judged by it. I did a live in the car on the 30, which my husband says is a byway, but it's not. It's a highway. To me, it's a highway. To him, it's a byway. We love going the back roads. But you know how the almost anxiety issue I had before I went on? People are going to judge me that I'm going to tell them I have a problem with this because I'm going to turn the camera. And I purposely did. I turned the camera to show them the traffic, and they're going to, what traffic? There's no traffic. This lady is Lulu. She's nuts. And you know what? I had everybody come on there going, hey, you're going to be fine. And I did have moments where I was going into kind of panicking a little bit. We got your back. And I was just going to put it out here. It's the truth. People want to sit here and it is. I have a problem going on the highway. I panic. I do not know why. Maybe it'll get unpacked in therapy. Maybe it'll never get unpacked. I don't know. I'm thankful I have loving, supportive family members and friends around me that understand and don't judge. But why are we... There should be no judgment in that. In anybody coming and say, you don't know what somebody's going through. They're allowed to feel the way they feel. The situation that's happening with my family, that person, they're entitled to feel the way they feel. But they're not entitled to cross boundaries in my life that are hurtful and put me in a really difficult place in a time that was really hard for me and a hard time for our family. No, you don't have the right to do that. But I don't judge the way you feel. I don't have to like it. I've never been in an accident. ML loves crochet. I've never been in a car accident. I have a funny feeling that where I get it from is if we got in a car accident, my pain sits at probably about a 2 or 3 every day. Sometimes, depending, it goes up. I'm on medication that controls it. But the thought of getting into an accident, I think the thought of thinking, oh my gosh, if I got into an accident and I'm already hurting, I don't want to hurt any more than I'm already hurting. And so, I don't know. The only coordination we can kind of coordinate with it is about the time they started, when it was shortly after my grandmother passed away. And there may be a coordination. I don't know. But I was having them before Tammy. I was having them before my grandmother passed away. I was having panic attacks in the car beforehand. Shortly after my fibromyalgia diagnosis, which, panic attacks and anxiety attacks are part of fibromyalgia life. I don't drive because I feel like when I get in the car, my legs feel like Gumby and I just don't feel safe to drive, so I can't drive. That's been taken away. I don't know if I'll ever have the ability to drive again. We'll see. But my husband thankfully loves to go the back roads, and I love to go the back roads. So he will take, if like when we go from here to Indiana to see family, it takes us an extra hour to get there, and he will go that extra hour so that I don't hurt. Because if somebody does have fibromyalgia and they have panic attacks, sometimes it will make their pain worse the next day. And so he chooses to go the longer way so that I don't hurt, and that's a loving, loving way. Tammy says, I understand I fell a lot from the MS, but I refuse to let myself move to consist needing a wheelchair. You go, girl. You go for as long as you need. You can go. I will tell the story of my grandfather. My grandfather was my papu, which is grandfather in Greek, had multiple sclerosis. He was such an amazing man. But his because they thought he was gold breaking in the military, they made him work harder than he should have, and then it actually made his MS a lot better, or a lot worse, a lot sooner than it would have. This dragon says, my mother and I drove like our mother, lead foot. We lost her driving on the fast on ice. Oh, I'm so sorry. And Christine says, this makes sense. Nervous system, all whack, inflammation. Yep, no brainer. I get it. And he won't do it either. And Tammy says, anxiety is horrible. I love to drive, and I take ibuprofen before I have to drive, and it helps with the pain. Believe me. The medication I'm on due to my fibromyalgia is the only medication I can take. Unfortunately, it is, all the other medications don't work. And so with that certain medication I need to be on, I wouldn't drive if I took it anyway. So I made that rule for me way back, that if I was on that medication, I couldn't drive, and I wouldn't drive. I wouldn't put anybody in myself or anybody else in the position. So that to some degree limits me, but I can't. It sounds nutty, and I can't explain it. I just know. I think I think it's panicky wise when I try to get behind the driver's seat, even without having my medicine. And I think that's why my legs feel like they're like really weak and like they're Gumby. And it's just, I'd love to drive. I'd love to be able to get in the car and go, without my husband, to go over to see my daughter. But maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. If not, it's not a big deal. I'm just really thankful I don't live in Florida anymore. If anybody has lived in Florida and seen the traffic, I'm very glad I don't deal with that anymore, because I think I would. I don't think I'd go outside the house. I just really don't. Up here in Ohio, we have a lot of back roads and a lot of country roads, and the Amish country is just beautiful. Tammy says, Mary, I understand. I have strong opiates, but lifelong changed injury happened to my mother on Mother's Day in 95. Yep. And unfortunately, there's a stigma behind them, and that's, there's a stigma there, that you're in that type of medication. I'm dependent of it, but I'm not addicted to it. And I have a wonderful doctor, wonderful. I put every medication I take in my phone. It goes in a pill reminder. I don't trust. Yes, the Amish country is beautiful. I don't trust here. I think it was, what day was it? Tuesday? And I got up and I was really sore. I mean, I was just like really extra sore, and I didn't connect all the dots. My husband had an appointment, and we went there. And then I had to go to Hobby Lobby to get yarn for a project. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to go. Then we stopped there, and I said, and I was doing My Other's Keeper. I was doing I was doing a live with her, with my daughter, and I thought, my husband said, let's just stop and get something to eat. Uh, you know, let's stop and get something to eat and get some medicine in you before we go home. And I opened up my phone and I go, oh, I haven't had a medication since like the previous day. I thought I had taken my pill in the middle, before I went to sleep, and apparently I didn't. Well, that answered a huge amount of questions. And I took my medicine, and within about a half an hour, I felt better. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I hadn't had my medicine since the previous day. Well, no wonder I'm hurting. So I don't trust my brain. It goes in my phone, and it gets documented every time there's a medicine pill that goes in my mouth. I don't have to worry about it. And I was like, okay, this makes perfect sense now. But there is unfortunately a stigma, and there's nothing wrong as long as you're taking the medication appropriately. You're taking it by doctor's orders. You know, and you're doing it the right way, and by the end of the month you're using the pills that he's told you can use, then you're fine. She does great lives, by the way. They're killing me to sit that long. Well, do what you need to do. If you can't be on there for that long, then, do what you need to do. Don't sit there too long. We don't want you hurting, Miss Dragon. Tama says, same here. I'm bad about that. Always meds left over each month. That's fine. Then you're doing it right. You're doing it right. I had family members that could go through an entire bottle within 10 days, if not sooner. And they could not handle it. The Amish country is very nice. I will take you one time, and one time that we're down there, and show you the Amish country. Berlin's beautiful. Walnut Creek's beautiful. There's beautiful, it's just gorgeous countryside. And I mean, you can go down there and find a horse and buggy at a Dollar General, and no problem. There's a place called Walnut Creek Cheese Factory. Oh my gosh, they got the best ice cream, and the cinnamon buns are so good. The best cinnamon buns you've ever had in your entire life. But one of these days I'll go down there and show off the Amish country to y'all, because it's beautiful. But I love Ohio, and I love being up here, up in this area where we're not in a city necessarily. I mean, we were at Cincinnati. We were a drive into the city, but we weren't in the city. We're even further out where we are, but I love it. It's crazy because I was raised in Florida where there was all this traffic and all this stuff, and my husband's like, you ever think you'd be a country girl? And I'm like, no, but it must have been something inside. But I love it. The kettle corn, yes. There is a place near us that we can go to. It's a little market, and they've got bags of kettle corn, and it's so good. Oh my goodness, it is so good. There is a place, Lehman's, I'm gonna say it, probably about an hour from here, and I'm telling you about it. Has everything. Oh my goodness. It's got you can spend an entire day going through this huge, they've got kitchen stuff, and then they have this whole section of sodas you wouldn't even imagine. Mustard soda, ranch soda, all these different sodas on this wall. It is amazing. Oh my goodness. Puzzles and tools, and you literally can walk the entire store going, oh my goodness. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So anyway. Yes, I know. You wish you could go live in the mountains, but the signal, I wish you could too. You could take me through the mountains, because that's probably the only way I'll get there. One of these days. Maybe, right? So, you know what? I'm going to start this. It's going to be a challenge for everybody. I'm going to come up and say, okay, how do you love what about yourself do you love? Put it in the chat. I think that's a great idea. And we may do that. Okay, it's time to put something different. Put it in the chat. What is something you like about yourself? What is something that somebody can help? What can we help you to feel better about yourself with? Muddle their brains. With life choices, Tammy said. There is a gentleman I watch. I was actually on his channel at one point telling my testimony. Uh, oh my goodness, I forgot what his name is now. Elder Yoder is his name. I'll have to put him in the thing because he has a YouTube channel. Let me see. I wasn't on his YouTube, but I was on his Facebook. And he was former Amish. And he really does a lot of insight in, a lot of insight about the Amish and, his growing up and kind of, here it is. I will get his channel and I'll put it in the chat. But I was in he has a Facebook. I was in his, on his Facebook telling my testimony. I've never been Amish, but I was just on there to talk about forgiveness and so forth. I'm in the wrong live, y'all. So I'll put him in. And he really does a tremendous... He answers a lot of questions that are kind of interesting about the Amish community and stuff that you wouldn't think of. And so I put him in the chat, but it's very interesting. He does very interesting content. And I enjoyed him, and he actually lives up here in Ohio, and I hope to get to meet him one time. I've told him if he ever comes to Mansfield, he knows to call me, and I will gladly take the man out to lunch. But very interesting content. I have nothing wrong with people that want to go horse and buggy and not live, not have lights and all the televisions. Do what you want to do. To me, it's just make sure that you're speaking from the Word. And so it gives you a very different insight because of what the Amish community and I don't want to speak, he'd do so much better than I can, but the church leaders are making all the rules, and those rules have to be followed, and it's not always what the rules are always what is actually biblical. So he does a great perspective on it. But the Amish community here it's here and it's amazing, and the food is tremendous, and they're very respectful, always respectful, and it's kind of cool to go up to a local store down the Amish country and see horse and buggy. It's like, it's kind of cool to see it. Or you'll be going down the road and some of the heavier Amish, and you'll come up and there'll be like a horse and buggy and you have to go around it. And so it's neat. It's neat. And they have their furniture and their quilting is just, amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. So anyway, I am going to hop off here. Yep, you got a wrench on the boat. Everybody go to the lifeboat. And I will put the comment in if you haven't checked them out. Tommy's just amazing. We love our crew and our captain tremendously. He's tremendously helpful. Very grateful. So I will put his comment or his channel in here. I hope people will go check it out. If I can find it. Hold on a second. I have met a lot of people, a lot of amazing people, and more importantly, I've really just, I don't think I'd be here on the other side. You're already subscribed. Awesome. I'm going to put it in for people that aren't. But people that, I don't think I'd be on the other side of this thing if it wasn't for the lifeboat. They have just been life changing, and I'm forever, forever grateful. So, I'm going to get off. So, I really challenge you to do it and go over to Lifeboat Beacons. The group is in the description below. If we can help you through some of those things as peer support, we'll be glad to do it. Thank you for wonderful friends in the room. Wonderful friends in your room, and you, Mary. Oh well, we're gonna listen in my house, and this is my mom's in my house. We're not gonna do anything but lift everybody up. You want to drag somebody down, go someplace else. The door is there. You don't have to announce your departure. Just go. I will have a great night. I will not be on tomorrow and probably Saturday. I'll see about Monday. I did pretty good. Monday's usually my day. I go to get those bricks lifted off my shoulders. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try to come on Sunday night. We'll just see. We're supposed to kind of declutter the garage a little bit. So we're going to have to see how sore Mary is too. So that will all depend. I will try to hop on Tuesday. I've been doing a Tuesday about 9 o'clock with my daughter. So I may try to hop on with her. I usually try to do Wednesday. I'm trying to get into a routine and a schedule. And now that I kind of understand how to come onto this thing easily, I'm trying to come on time. And hopefully there's no computer problems. So thank you all for joining me. This has been a great time. And I'm very serious. If there is one of my friends that have started a channel that they're nervous to go live, I will gladly come on your live with you, and I can be quiet. I can be a mod, and I can just be there. If that's what you need, it's just somebody to say, listen, I got my girl over here. I just need some support. I will gladly be able to do that. And when this is over with, if you have a channel and you want to just, you need subscribers and you need friends and you need to build your community, put it in the comments of the video when this is over with, and people then just can click on your little icon and go right to your channel and subscribe. It is free, doesn't cost you anything, and it helps grow. I went to 200. So thankful for everybody's support. I met 200 the other day. So happy. And I just continue to help to grow this community, and you can go back and watch my video of why I'm doing YouTube. And I think it will probably surprise you. So thank you for joining me tonight. Please remember, God does not make junk. He makes you to be who you are. He loves you just the way you are. And He has created you to be exactly who He needs you to be in this time and place. Remember one word. Remember two words. Remember two words. And then I say with every live that I end, stay connected. Love you all. Have a great night.